senior foreign policy writer at Newsweek. Tom, good to have you with us. So, given that list of issues where the two may be able to reach agreement and others where they definitely aren't going to reach agreement, do you think this summit has changed anything between the US and Russia?
Well, I think it's important to remember this meeting was really a testing of the waters. This was two presidents who want to come together and say, express their message to the other, and they want to walk away from it saying, I said what I had to say, and the other guy heard me. So we're seeing a laundry list of issues here, from foreign policy areas of contention, Libya, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Syria, of course, as well as bilateral issues such as cybersecurity and strategic stability when it comes to nuclear arms. I think that both men can walk away from this saying that the other side is aware of what I expect from them. And most importantly, perhaps when it came to the cyber issue and the Biden administration expressing what it conveyed as red lines regarding critical infrastructure.
Very low expectations before the summit. And actually, President Biden was criticized for even offering a summit to President Putin. So do you think overall this has turned out to be a bit of a win for Biden?
Well, I think that despite domestic criticism, that there's always room for dialogue, especially, I mean, Russia is one of the world's top military powers. It's a premier diplomatic power, not only regionally, but internationally. I think that there's a lot to be gained from just speaking. The very idea of holding a summit. I think you don't win much from silence, especially now at a time where the U.S. finds itself in a strategically precarious position with Russia and China both engaging each other on historical levels. I think the U.S. Needs to engage with Russia, even if there are areas of contention. They need these areas of contention, these red lines I mentioned before, need to be communicated. So the Biden administration can walk away and say, I did exactly that, and Putin himself will also walk away and say that these are the issues I wanted to communicate to my new U.S. counterpart. So there is a victory on both sides there, and that alone.
I'm glad you mentioned China there, because in the grand scheme of things, how does Russia rank for the U.S. in terms of foreign policy concerns? Isn't it rather more worried about China these days?
Sure. I think that China certainly tops the list of U.S. concerns, but in a lot of these areas, as I mentioned, Russia does find itself involved. Now, the U.S. is looking towards the South China Sea, East Asia as its primary area of concern, but Russia is also a Pacific power. Just recently held a large set of drills. Russia has missile systems that span the entire Eurasian continent. Russia has been involved in building an early warning missile system in China. Russia obviously is involved in these issues. And on other issues as well. And when it comes to the Middle East specifically, Russia has really come out as a top power, not just militarily, as I referenced in Syria, but also diplomatically, with arms deals in the Gulf region, areas where the U.S. specifically had a near hegemony when it came to international efforts.
Tom, great to speak with you. Thank you very much indeed for that. Tom O'Connor in New York there.